Paltrocast.
Well, how's your day going aside from having to do press? Because it's not like it's a nothing summer. You've got a big arena amphitheater tour, to say the least.
Yeah, today we're in Milwaukee for a day off. I just wrapped 6 shows in a row. So it's a much needed body rest and just chill day on tour.
Yeah, most artists I find don't do more than 3 shows a week. To do 6 in a row, Derek, I guess, has steel pipes, huh?
You know what? The band actually had a day off in the middle of that, but I chose to go to Chicago and do a workshop with School of Rock at House of Vans, which was incredible. So it made it 6 in a row for me. But yeah, we usually with the band we'll do 3 in a row, then day off. That's pretty much our schedule.
And then further credit goes to you. You had the workshop in Chicago coming up. You have the live set in Seattle. There's DJ sets in Michigan and California and Indianapolis and Columbus. You don't sleep a lot, I take it.
You know what? That's everyone says that, but actually I do. I 100% sleep because, I'm as healthy as can be, but without sleep, none of that will, matter. So it's like my whole thing is I get my 7-8 hours of sleep a night, which is actually easier on tour. Because when I'm at home, I'm a dad, I've got the kids and all that stuff. So on the road I definitely sleep more, and on a tour bus I have like the best sleep ever. But yeah, no, I 100% get my rest, and just really good time management, just knowing how to just plan my day, get it all in. Like, today's the day off, I'm gonna do everything I have to do to catch up, but then I'm also scheduling some time just to like decompress and chill because I just need it. It's like just for mental health, just for everything. It's like you've got to just allow some me time, because the machine doesn't work well if you don't do that.
Well, that ties in with the compliment. If I can give you a compliment, some people are weird about getting compliments. How are you about that?
All good, man.
Okay, so yes, there's the Sum 41 stuff. Yes, there's the workshops and the DJ sets. You seem to have about 3 to 8 collaborative singles out a year, plus Street Drum Corps, plus you never know when we're going to see you fill in for another band or a session or that kind of thing. So how does all that get done? Is there a team behind Frank?
Yeah, I mean, I 100%. I have an amazing team that helps me, but I mean, everything starts with me and kind of my vision of how I want to do things, and it's just something that I love, you know, collaborating with artists and just creatively doing solo projects or and whatnot. And then I'm just so passionate about doing the workshops to inspire, motivate, and save kids lives. So it's just something that just is just kind of the way I've always been, that I really enjoy. And it's just a healthy balance of how to kind of figure it all in, just to but now it's like the end of the year is coming and I'm carving out just a ton of really special family time, because at the end of the day, that's like really, really important, especially with me being gone a lot this year, and all that. So I'm really looking forward to just like that family special time for sure.
Now, your solo material, I have to compliment because it's all over the place stylistically in a good way. So a
hmm
lot of people say it's rocktronic, but the track that you did with Fred Mascherino, nothing to do with the rocktronic kind of stuff. Have you always been into all kinds of music? Because again, none of that has anything to do with Street Drum Corps.
Yeah, 100%. Like it's absolutely, I think there's no rules when, me being a drummer, and being like a solo artist, I just want to collaborate with people that move me, that I'm inspired by. And the thing, which is crazy, that song with Fred was one of the first sessions I did in the pandemic. Fred
Oh,
was in town. He came over my house. It was a beautiful day and we just wanted something uplifting, and musically just, music saves, and we wanted to do something really positive. And that song literally happened in a day. We held on to it and wanted to wait for the right time. And we put it out, this summer we performed it live in New York City together. And we're actually going to perform it in LA together in October. So that's been really fun and special. But yeah, it's like, I love everything that's beat. That song's very beat driven. It's a big beat in that song. Anything beat wise, that's why I'm really drawn to electronic music. Just because, being a drummer and like just seeing what that does in those climates, it's just something so powerful and incredible. so that's, that's fun. I mean, I just had a song come out today with my new project called Gravas, which is like metal and electronic music just merged together, and we've actually turned it into a band because we've just been having so much fun. We're gonna do a festival in October together to launch the thing live. So it's been fun. It's just all the creative, things that just kind of complete me as an artist. It's just really, really fun to be all over the place. And actually, street drum corps was something, that built from the ground up, and just I couldn't
Mhm.
believe, that's really what landed me in the industry and all the connections and stuff. And actually last year I felt it was time to just step away. I walked away from it. I just kind of checked all the boxes and was just, I'm really wanting to put my time more into these kids workshops and solo stuff. So it
Mhm.
was an incredible run. So yeah, I just had a, it's just time, when something is just like creatively and all that. But what a ride that
Sure.
was for sure.
This is also intended to be a compliment. Your career path reminds me of Tommy Lee, who you notoriously filled in for some shows, in that your day job has nothing to do with your solo material. Also, that
Hmm.
you are thought of as this award winning drummer, yet you're a multi instrumentalist who's properly trained as well. And you like to do more electronic dance stuff, which again sounds nothing like the day job. Also, when Tommy's on tour, he's known for doing the stadium gigs, but then he pops up DJing and doing side gigs and side hustles at the same time. Is that just
Totally.
a coincidence that you have that same kind of career path, that hustler's mentality?
Yeah, I mean, we both share so much in common. That's why we're such great friends, and I think we just both have the same love and passion for a lot of the same things. And he was somebody that I really looked up to. He was always so ahead of the, like when he was doing Methods of Mayhem, that was so ahead of its time. It's like
Totally.
he's always just, I just it just, that's what, when I saw Motley Crue at 5 years old, that's what made me want to do, to seeing him, put the drums almost as the forefront and just as a spectacle, but a guy that could just lay it down and make you, move that arena. It's just something at 5 years old that really just, I think, was ingrained in me, and just was such a, breakout moment that kind of changed my life. So it's pretty wild. And then we've done so much stuff together. We produced a whole crazy drum off for the Guitar Center drum off, where we basically turned it into a Broadway production. So we've done some crazy stuff together, which he's the best guy to do that stuff with, because it's just like his imagination and creativity is just legendary.
Right. Well, hey, back to you and the compliments at you. I'm dialing in from Long Island. When you think of Long Island musicians that made it, now the average person goes, yeah, Billy Joel, but I really find it inspiring how you made it from Suffolk County. Most of the people that made it, I find, aside from the hip hop genre, made it from Nassau. Now, when did you finally get off of Long Island?
uh what I don't know the year, but I was 25. I had, when I was coming up, I was like into the whole hardcore scene. I was in hardcore bands. That was very big in Long Island.
Oh, yeah, still
You know,
is.
it was incredible, to be a part of that. And then in high school, I got into like professional like cover bands and wedding bands, which was kind of boot camp because you're playing 3 hours a night.
Wait a second. Were you in an Omnipop cover band that played Mulcahy?
Oh, dude, 100%. And that band is still going to this day. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people came out of that scene of the band 9 Days is maybe the most famous one of those.
Yeah. My boys.
But
Yeah, totally.
so I liken that to when people talk about Van Halen, how they came out of playing 40-minute sets a night and doing the covers and all that. You did that too here on Strong Island.
I did. I mean, literally, in a tuxedo playing, weddings. I mean, all of that stuff. And it was such a great education because of the stamina stylistically. And it was a great job. I was in an Omnipop band, like you said. We were sponsored by beer companies. We had a road crew. We had pyrotechnics. It was just like as big as you could be.
Yeah.
Um, but it got to a point where, then I was doing the original thing. And when that kind of like fizzled out, my manager, um, got me a gig in a band in LA. And when I kind of went out there and did the showcases, and we saw the response, the industry was paying attention to me and all that. My manager's like, you got to move here. And I always wanted to, because everything I loved about music, the bands, the scene. I would go out there a lot on vacation. I always wanted to be there. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go out there for a year and try and see. So many friends from Long Island would got their record deals and,
Oh yeah.
you know, or whatever. And they went out there and it didn't work out and they would come back and discouraged and defeated. And I was like, I don't want to be like so many of my peers that are going out there and coming back. Like, I want to stay here. I've got to make it, you know. So that was kind of like my ammunition. You know, and typical story, I went out there to be in the singer-songwriter. Everything was going to happen. We get out there, we showcase, and it just falls apart. And it was like, oh man. And luckily enough, I, you know, started Street Drum Corps and it just rocket shipped, you know, very
It did,
fast.
yeah.
And that was kind of how, like, you know, and that's the thing about LA. It's like, there's a million drummers, there's a million bands. Like, how do you stand out? How do you do something different? And that's what Street Drum Corps was. And, you know, through that, I met Sum 41, and here I am in the band 10 years later, you know. So it's like, just all that stuff that I love, you know, about California. Obviously, I love that I was born and raised in New York, to have that just like hustle, you know. I think that's kind of everything you're saying, like, how do you do it? That's just the New Yorkers. I think that's just our DNA, you know. And that kind of mentality, I feel, goes far in California in the music industry, where it's a little bit more like laid back. California has 100% mellowed me out, because I was, you know, I'm amped right now talking to you about everything, but like, I definitely was a lot more high strung. California has definitely zen me out of it. But you know,
Yeah.
my family's all still there. We're playing Jones Beach on this tour next weekend. So,
Yes.
you
Does
know, it's
Jones Beach
special.
feel like a hometown gig for you? Because yes, you have all
Yes.
the guest list drama, but at the same time, most of the people looking at you on stage are like, "Yep, Canadian band."
Yeah, I mean, I'm the only you know, Canadian, you know, but yeah, I mean, I've saw so many shows as a child too, you know. I mean, before I moved to California, the last show I saw was at Jones Beach, Lollapalooza, with Audio Slave, Jane's Addiction, Queens of the Stone Age. I mean, what a send off. And I played there once, Street Drum Corps. We opened for Lincoln Park there years ago. So it's going to be amazing to go back. This tour has been just such a success and amazing. There was 20,000 people in
Oh yeah.
Chicago the other night. Like, it's been massive tour. And we're just winding down. There's about 5 more shows. But yeah, it's definitely a great homecoming. You know, I love that, you know, being from there. I loved having, you know, New York City in my backyard. That's where I went to drum school. You know, instead of going to traditional college, I went to the Drummers Collective in New York City.
Mhm.
And you know, it's great. I was just there this summer. I took my family. You know, with my kids, we spent the night in New York City, and just to see it through their eyes, you know, they're California kids now, but just see New York and the skyscrapers, it was cool to see, because I'm just so used to it. It's like, it was just cool to feel that energy again. You know, I mean, I've been all over the world, and New York City is one of my favorite cities in the world. There's just nothing like it. You know, it's a magical place for sure.
In your early days of LA, had they put you up at the Oakwoods? Did you have to survive the Oakwoods?
You know what? I never did that. I know Sum 41, when they were making their first record, they lived there.
Really?
I was in, yeah, and there's crazy stories about that too. I think them and Weezer were both there, and it was just chaos back in the day. But
Yeah.
I, you know, I lived in Koreatown, which is kind of cool now, but it wasn't when I moved there. Like, I literally,
Oh.
my U-Haul, I'm unloading it, and there's a crime scene across the way, and I'm just like, where did I just move? You know, it's like I found the place on Craigslist, like shady. Roach ran across my chest one morning. So it's like, I definitely paid my dues, you know, in LA, and it was a tough start for sure, but it was also just like, I'm so glad it happened that way. You know, it's like, when you really have to work for things, you just appreciate them so much more. Like, I wasn't handed anything for sure.
No. Well, two more questions and then I'll let you
Sure.
go. This first one, if it sounds rude, it's not meant to be rude. I have a qualifier to it. When I interviewed the singer of Candlebox a couple weeks ago, they're in the midst of their farewell tour and they're calling their new album the last album. So I said to him, "Do you know what you're doing after Candlebox ends?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm going to record more. I've got a spirit company. I've got my charity. I'm going to be really busy." In your case, once Sum 41 goes on hold, I'm not asking for the exclusive, but do you know what life is like for you?
You know what? It's like, clearly what we've been talking about. It's like, that's my life. I'm always just so busy, and things just happen. You know, I don't care, and I'm not thinking about it. Like, I love this band so much. It's such a glorious way we're going out to celebrate an incredible career. The shows are going to be massive. This double
Yeah.
album is so incredible, and I just want to enjoy every minute of it and not worry about, because it's like we have a world tour to say goodbye to. People, or like they think we're done after this tour, and it's like, no, 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 we're putting out a record next year, and then we have a world tour to say goodbye. So it's going to be a long run. So I don't, need to worry. It's like anything can happen.
Mhm.
Life could be short. It's like you just don't know, and it's like I'll figure out, like I figure everything else out. So I'm just going to enjoy every moment of being in this incredible band with my best friends. It's like I know I'll be busy. I know great things always happen, work themselves out, and just put it out in the universe and all that. But until then, it's like, figure it out when we get there.
That makes sense. And on a lighter note, as a person who's just sitting in front of screens a lot, killing time on the bus and all that, do you have a TV recommendation to put along, pass along that you go, you should be watching this? Because every time the wife and I say we're going to watch a show, we kill it in 3 days and we go, what's next? So I figured you ask the people who have a good sense of humor, who are cultured, what are they like? And that's you, Frank.
Yeah. You know what? I think I just got into it with my wife. Which will start when I finally get home from tour. We'll pick it up again. It's Bear Grylls. We've been loving his series on I guess on Discovery or an app
One of
or
those
Disney Plus or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and I'm loving, I'm late to the party, but Gordon Ramsay's Uncharted. Like I like these kind of just nature doing, out in the wild, having to figure things out and be put in these, difficult situations and whatnot. Like that's kind of something that I've been to. Like I really don't watch that much TV. And when I do, it's for pure just like shutting down. So I'm not into anything that's going to stress me out or freak me out. It's like I just try to just, I love and anything comedy. Like, when there's a new Dave Chappelle or Whitney Cummings or Bert Kreischer, any stuff that's just so, I love all those people. I love comedy. So if there's any new specials, I'll get into it. Or, it's like the more kind of nature challengey kind of stuff I've been into for sure. And just like honestly, I'll just like when I go to the gym or on a day off, I'll just dive into some great podcasts, with some of the people that I'm into, just to hear what's going on and whatnot. But yeah,
some new shows for us to check out in this household. Well, Frank, thank you for the many years of great art. Hope to catch
thank you,
that
man.
Jones Beach show. But in the meantime, just keep up all the greatness and looking forward to what's next, whether it's solo material, the next Sum 41 record, the clinics, whatever it is, just keep it up.
Awesome. Thanks, my man.
Paltrocast.